This tomorrow's primary is probably more important to you as an Idahoan than any election you're ever going to have in your life. I don't even know why I'm bothering to do this, so I decided to make it look like I'm in a blizzard because I'm just getting bored with trying to repeat the same message. Idaho is basically blue. Idaho, what people don't realize has gone on, what happened in Colorado, you know, we're Boise is going to be Portland. People are determined that it's going to happen, and I'm going to just tell you a couple things real quick. There are groups that are called like the Gem State Conservatives and the North Idaho Republicans. They're not Republicans. So if you think that it's because, well, I'm just an extremist, you know, really right wing or whatever, I can assure you these people, and I can prove it, just recently were people that were actually held positions in the Democrat Party and campaigned on behalf of Joe Biden. You don't even have to look that hard to find it. And their first big push is to take over Kootenai County, which is like 63% Republican. And when once they do that, all the dominoes are going to fall. And Idaho's basically, which is purple right now, it's not red, is going to be blue. Because of the apathy of the Idaho voter. Idaho voters, they just don't really care. Idaho voters, apparently, it's cool, it's okay if we become Portland. Because Idaho voters are notorious for not paying any attention to what goes on in their own state. Sadly, tomorrow there are going to be more Democrats voting in the Republican primary than are going to be voting. They're probably going to be voting more in the Republican than the Democrat primary. You can check all this stuff out. I mean, the Democrats basically run everybody in their party unopposed. That frees everybody up to go and vote in the Republican primary. So you got Democrats that are basically registering as Republicans to take over our primary to get their people in there. I shared a video with Brent Reagan where he goes through and he proves that legislatively Idaho is basically leans Democrat in their legislation. This is a fact. This is actual legislative analysis that's been done. This isn't partisan. This is basically just laying down and looking at all the legislation. So Idaho, you've been asleep. You haven't been paying attention at all. And after tomorrow, I believe it's going to be too late. I think we're critical mass, point of no return. Maybe I'm too cynical, but I just don't see it. Because Idaho people, they don't even pay attention. As long as there's an R after the name, it literally doesn't matter what the legislator does. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. And they have been lying about everything in this primary. In fact, as a matter of fact, advertisement today for Jeff Schroeder, guy from Kamiah, absolute misleading, dishonest advertisement. And what they're doing is when you hear about these advertisements and these mailers that come to your door and they say, you know, so-and-so voted against law enforcement, you know, they're against law enforcement and the National Guard. What they're doing is they're taking bills that are appropriations bills that have a lot of stuff in them, okay? And so a Republican, somebody that's really actually conservative, the bill comes along and let's say, for instance, it has $1 million allotted for studying Brad Little's butt cheeks, whatever it is, okay? Doesn't matter. So they vote down this appropriations bills. Now these bills, they keep coming up and they get negotiated until one comes back and finally passes. What they do is they purposely draw people in to vote against a bill like that. And in that bill is also the funding for the Idaho State Police. So they can lie, and Brad Little is behind this and connected to this, and the North Idaho Republicans and Gem State Conservatives, right? And they can go out and they can say, you know, whoever it is, Zito, whoever it is, Tammy Nichols, you know, whatever, totally conservative legislators that are really fighting hard for your rights. And they'll have a mailer that says, she voted against, you know, the police, and we need good law and order, you know, and it's just an absolute disgusting lie. The problem is they know that as Idahoans, you don't read anything and you don't look past it. And you look at it and you go, well, I'm for law and order, and so then you vote for a liberal, and you've been doing it over and over and over again. And chances are you're going to do it tomorrow, maybe not so much by actually voting, but by your inactivity. You don't go vote in the Republican primary. I'm talking to the conservative Republican. That's fine with the Democrats because they laugh. They have laughed at me. They've admitted to me, hey, you guys don't even vote in your own primary. We'll vote for you. And they're going to show up in mass tomorrow and vote in our primary. That's what the open primary scam is all about, the ranked choice voting. It is an absolute mess. And if it passes, if the ranked choice voting becomes reality in Idaho, we are finished. We are Colorado. We are Portland, Oregon. I am not exaggerating. I guarantee it. But Idahoans, everybody I talk, as soon as I start talking about the state legislature, I see people's eyes just gloss over and they're just like, oh, I don't want to hear about it. Why? Because you'd rather just complain and say, we never have any good candidates to vote for, and big money, my vote doesn't count. It's because it's your fault. You don't pay attention at the local level. You don't pay attention to who your state legislators are, especially. You don't pay attention. You see an R after the name, and then they have the legislative sessions, and you don't even bother to find out what's going on. If you had any idea, you would be exasperated, and you would be flooding the polls tomorrow to save the state of Idaho. So tomorrow, at the Republican primary, you're either going to save or you are going to destroy Idaho. The Idaho voter, and if you think, oh, I had nothing to do with it, you had everything to do with it. You either are going to save the state or you're going to destroy the state tomorrow. And if you stay home, you are going to contribute to destroying Idaho like it's not coming back. And in a year from now, maybe 6 months from now, you'll go, oh, it wasn't so bad or whatever. But I guarantee you, a year, 2 years, within the next 5 years, Idaho, you're not even going to recognize Idaho. They have a plan. They brag about it. And they have massively trying to take over all the precinct committee positions. They are spending millions and millions and millions of out-of-state dollars to take over the Republican Party in Idaho from the grassroots, from the ground up. They admit it. They admit it openly because they know, Idaho, you don't pay attention. You don't. So tomorrow, if you actually care about the state of Idaho, go look at the Idaho Freedom Foundation or one of those actual conservative, because this is how they're fooling you, is they're calling themselves conservative this and Republican that. They've been sued by the Republican Party because they can't even use the GOP insignia. They have like a white elephant. They can't do it because they're not Democrats, but they keep calling themselves Republicans. So they're dishonest, right? And they can sleep with themselves at night. They're okay with that. They can shave in the morning, look themselves in the face, and they're totally cool with it. And they're a superior enemy. They are destroying us. They are winning, because they know that just like you're not going to pay attention to this video, you're not going to pay attention if I was in your living room trying to tell you and showing you and trying to demonstrate it for you, because it doesn't have anything to do with college basketball or whatever else it is. But Idaho's going down, and I'm telling you, they brag about it. They say things like that. They say things like, you know what, Idaho, you're going down. And they laugh. I've had people laugh at me. I've had people online just saying, yeah, we're in your party. We're taking it over. We practically got it all taken over already. And I could offer any resources that you wanted to confirm this, but it's a little late in the game now, So whatever happens Tuesday, tomorrow, we're done for, unless Idaho decides suddenly to care, and I don't see any evidence of that. The big money is on the rhinos and the liberals. I mean, what we have in the Republicans in this state that are taking over are the Mitt Romneys, and if you are pro Mitt Romney, and if you are very much happy about and you want kids to go to drag shows and you want your kids to be taught about drag queens and you want children to be surgically mutilated because at 8 years old they suddenly decide, Mommy, I want to be a girl or whatever, you know, you wouldn't do that if they said they wanted to be a pirate or they wanted to be a whatever. You'd say, well, kids, you know how they are. But these sick fantasies that these sick parents that are abusing their children are playing out, and they are fighting tooth and nail. And the ACLU Idaho has said, if you don't do it, we're going to force it on you. They bragged about it recently. What were you doing, Idaho? You were sleeping. So if you think we're conservative now, they're laughing and go along with it, and they're put all their people in place. It's like a Tet offensive. They're going to do it. And if you think that I'm just crazy, ask them. Go look. Check it out. So I hope you do the right thing, and I hope you're voting in the primary and paying some attention. I hope at the very least you're getting out there and trying to vote against Mike Simpson, who's going to remove all the lower Snake River dams. And so we have less electricity. So I hope you enjoy your electric cars and everything, because whatever you do tomorrow is going to determine whether or not Idaho is going to be the Idaho that people are coming here and the reason they're coming here, or you're just going to turn it into another Portland, and then you're going to wash your hands of it down the road and say, oh, they just don't have any good politicians, blah, blah, blah. Well, you've been warned. You've been told 100,000 times. And you go for the billboards. And you go for the R after somebody's name because you don't even pay attention. I know this is cynical. This isn't a very positive. This is just a last-ditch effort because I'm pretty sure, for one thing, nobody watches my videos. I don't really haven't really tried to monetize or increase, my channel or whatever. But that's okay. I just can't let the night go down without at least, pointing out that, tomorrow, it's do or die tomorrow for Idaho. It's absolutely do or die. So you're either gonna do the right thing or you're just gonna blow it off. And from what I've seen in the past, you're probably gonna blow it off. And that's really sad. Voter guides are still available. You can still find out. The Idaho Freedom Foundation, and I'm going to put some links down in the description. Anyway, I'll put links in the description. Voter guides, look at them. You've got to learn to start paying attention, because all these ultra liberals, and I'm talking about position holders in the Democrat Party, who I can show you pictures of them with signs for Joe Biden in the yard. Okay, they are under the name of Republicans and Gem State conservatives, and they are sending stuff to your door, and you don't even know it. And they are laughing at you. They're laughing at you. I mean, they really do. They say some really disparaging things. Look at Julie Yamamoto. I mean, she's right there on video talking about how we're a bunch of Barney Fifes. She had a concealed carry, and she carried when she was in the school system as an educator, because she said nobody was going to get to her or her children. But then she turned around and voted against the Second Amendment rights of any other teachers, and she invoked Barney Fife. She said, I just can't picture the Barney Fife. Boy, what could go wrong? So I mean, that's what these people think of you, as a bunch of stupid local yokels. They think you're idiots, and they say it out loud. Okay, but I can't go around and try to educate everybody, so we'll see what happens. But I think I know, and man, I hope to be wrong. I'm really tired of being right on this kind of stuff, but I don't think I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong on this, which is a bummer, really. All right, well, have a good night, have a good day. Get out to the polls. If you don't know who to vote for, ask. You can PM me. I'll find out who's the real deal and who's not, and who's being lied about. I know a lot of it already. At the very least, if you're in the same district to vote for or against Mike Simpson, you'd better get rid of him. I'm telling you what, that guy is as liberal as they come. And like I said, if you value the hydroelectric dams at all, you better get rid of him. He's going forward with it. And he doesn't have a good plan for anything to replace it, unless you want to see a bunch of windmills in the Palouse, which is coming. If that's what you want. You don't want flood control. You don't want the irrigation that comes with the hydroelectric dams. Tomorrow, you're going to vote for or against that very thing by what you do or don't do. So, I'm out.